All right, everyone. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Uh, that conference call number is for tomorrow, and I'll reiterate it repeatedly over the course of the evening is 641 715 0857. That is 641 715 0857. Passcode is 488741. Passcode is 488741. So again, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Let's go to John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that come from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accuse you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Let's take ourselves back to 1 Corinthians chapter 13. We about to wind our foray in this particular genre on down. Yeah, we're about to wind it on down. Not all the way down, because we got three more things actually, but as you already see, the name changes already came because we're about to wind this on down. So, love suffer long and is kind. Love envy not. Love vaunt not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeks not her own, is not easily provoked, think no evil. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. Bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, endure all things. Love never fail, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. And whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. So we started looking at rejoicing in iniquity and truth. And let's continue on with that. But one thing that I wanted to get to that we did not get to is forth in regards of not lifting itself up. We shall do that right now in the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 13. Judges 2, verse 13. You can make it 10 though. That ain't what I wanted. That ain't what I had. I think I had the wrong spot. Because now I don't remember where I got that word from. And now we can't be able to use that. Yeah, we can't use that because I don't recall where I got that word from. So let's go back to looking at what we was looking at. Let's take ourselves to 1 Kings chapter 12. Well, actually, 2 Samuel chapter 13 about rejoicing in iniquity and not doing so. 2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 1. 2 Samuel 13 and 1. It came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar. Amnon, the son of David, loved her. Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin, and Ammon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. Jonadab was a very subtle man. He said unto him, Why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Will thou not tell me? Ammon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed and make thyself sick. And when thy father come to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar give me meat and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand. So Ammon lay down and made himself sick. So when the king would come to see him, Ammon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come and make me a couple cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, go now to thy brother Ammon's house and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Ammon's house, and he was laid down, and he took flour and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Ammon said, have I all men from me? They went out every Ammon said unto Tamar, bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat out of thy hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Ammon her brother. And when she had brought them out unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, come lie with me, my sister. She answered him, nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Yasharal. Do not thou this folly. Now, number one, he already know this wrong. He went and hollered at somebody who would co-sign what he was doing because he rejoiced in lawlessness. Now, even in the midst about what he's about to do, this woman is still telling him, don't do this folly. This is not supposed to be done in Yasharal. Let's see why it's not supposed to be done. Leviticus chapter 20. And 17. Leviticus 20 and 17. Matter of fact, let's look at Leviticus 20 and 7 first. Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye Kadash, for I am Yahuwah your Elohim. You shall keep my statutes and do them. I am Yahuwah, which sanctify you. Now let's look at verse 17. So these things set you apart, not to participate in such behavior. If a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing. They shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He have uncovered his sister's nakedness. He shall bear his iniquity. He got to carry that. Now let's go back, right? 2 Samuel 13 and 12. So this is why she tell him, this is folly, this is iniquity. Don't do such a thing. She answered him, nay, my brother, do not force me. For no such thing ought to be done in Yasharal. Do thou not this folly. Whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Yasharal. Now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. Look at this right here, right? If you do this, this is going to cause you to be a fool. It's a lot of, so when you really turn around and you look at it, when you rejoice in iniquity, we can go get this Romans 1 that we didn't get the other day, just to read the bottom part of it. We'll start at verse 28 anyway, but if verse 32, that's what we want. Even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, clearly as Ammon didn't. Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whisperers. So we see the fornication and the wickedness and the unrighteousness all in Ammon. Backbiter, haters of Elohim, check that off. Despiteful, proud. We're going to check off despiteful, check off proud. Boasters, inventor of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding. So we could check that off for Ammon. Covenant breakers, without natural affection. You could check that off. Implacable, unmerciful, and you can check that off. Who knowing the judgment of Elohim, and he knew it, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but I have pleasure in them that do them. See, that's the sit back that you got to sit back and look at. If you take pleasure in people, it's kind of like what he told Hezekiah in the book of Chronicles, 2 Chronicles 19 to be exact. How do you love them that hate Yah? Now, you have to really sit back, cool. You have to really sit back and pay attention to that. Weigh that out in your mind. Because he said all the people who do these things that are filled with all unrighteousness, malignity, and they slandering people, and they fornicating, and all this unrighteousness. He said you take pleasure in the people who do them, that you take, he said if you take pleasure in somebody that do that, clearly you got to be doing the same. The reason why I point this out is why she said you'll be as the fools in Yasharal, because the fools rejoice in iniquity. It tell you that in the book of Proverbs, say a fool makes mock at sin. They laugh at it, they scorn it. It's not a serious, they don't see the seriousness in their behavior. You can see that whether the people claim to know they are brute or whatever. When you go to telling people this is lawless, this is not right in the eyesight of Yah, they scorn it, they mock it, they laugh at it. Now, if you say you a lover of Yah, a servant of Yah, there's no way in the world that you're going to be around that, because he told you to rejoice in the truth and not to rejoice in iniquity. That's why he tell you, 1 John chapter 4, he say, they are of the world, therefore the world hears them. See, I was telling him this the other day, and it brooded off of something that Dame Dash was talking about. It's the same scenario. This man say that he speaks the language of a boss. So when somebody doesn't speak that language, he doesn't understand them, he don't get them, they're not speaking the same. Their mind frame ain't the same. Their perspective ain't the same. It's going to cause a disconnect, and they're not going to be friends in that capacity because we don't think the same. So when you're looking at the word, and the word tell you that the world will hate you because you are not of the world, and the world will not understand you. See, it doesn't matter what parameters we say. That we set boundaries, or people say they respect it, this, that, there, and the third. Nevertheless, if you really in Elohim, you're not really going to be able to understand them people or really relate to them. You might say you could relate to them on a human level, but it's not going to be the level of relation that should be towards another person who serves Yah like you say you do. See, that ain't going to be able to work. Because remember, we done talked about this before in Psalms 119. He said, I'm a companion of those that fear thee. So if I can find myself to be a companion of those who don't fear him, what does that say about me? So you have to really sit there and think about that. What does that say about me? There's been a lot of conversations on the book about individuals' forfeits, a particular congregation and organization, about them, how, they tell people they got to cut their family off. See, ain't nobody going to tell you to cut nobody off. Matter of fact, Yah himself don't tell you to cut nobody off. You know what I'm talking about? He tell you that he cut you off so you could belong to him. He do the cutting off. He ever told somebody to leave the people alone? He said, matter of fact, he said, you know what? I'm going to leave him in the land to try you. See if you do what I said. He don't even tell you like this here. He tell you to sanctify yourself, but he telling you to sanctify yourself to him. He said in Leviticus, I severed you from other people that you should be mine. He the one did it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you sanctify yourself in him, then he the one doing the cutting off. He the one doing it. You ain't got to be like, oh, fool, I'm cutting you off. You ain't got to do none of that. If you actually walk in the word, as Yahushua told you in Luke chapter 6, the word is going to do it. The word is going to do it. You ain't got to do nothing. So if you really walking in the word and people have not separated themselves from your company, whether they claim to be in the word or whether they claim not to be, you have to start assessing yourself. Is the word really in you? Because 1 John 4:4 is clear. I'll read it for you. Don't worry about it. It's clear. 1 John 4:4 is blatantly clear. It's blatantly clear. And this goes back to what I told you about. Are we going to be sons and daughters of Yah? Sons and daughters of Elohim, I should say. Or are we just going to be mortal men? Now, you can only answer that question in your own heart. I can't answer that question for you. 1 John 4:4. He says, ye are of Elohim, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hear them. We are of Elohim, he that know Elohim, hear us. He that is not of Elohim, hear not us. Hereby we know the Ruach of truth and the Ruach of error. So based off of this particular scenario, we gonna know who has the breath of Aman, the breath of Amunah, the breath of Amat, or rejoicing in the truth. And we gonna know the Ruach of error, or those who are rejoicing in iniquity, or Avon. That's, you have to really, because it's really just that simple. There's no gray areas. It's black and white with y'all. It's no gray areas. It's no in between. No in between. You know what I'm saying? We can try to make it in between. We can try to make it whatever we want to be, but ain't no in between. And again, the conference line number is 641-715-0857. That's 641-715-0857. Passcode 488741. Passcode 488741. Ain't no in between. Ain't no in between. And we could try to spice it up and make it how we want it to be, but that's not how y'all see it. Now, like I said numerous times over the course of many years, but you could talk to and hang around whoever you want to hang around. You do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But if your soul is going to be saved, we have to do this right here. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and then John 15. We got to sit back and look at that. That's all we got to do. Consistently, constantly, and regularly do this right here in 2 Corinthians chapter 13. We'll pick it up at verse 3. And then we'll go right to John 15 to link up with what's in that 1 John chapter 4. And the reason why I went through all of this is because you see that with Tamar and Amon. This ain't just throwing this stuff out here. It's related to what we're looking at. Because she was speaking according to the breath of truth. And he was speaking according to the breath of error. Because he wanted to commit folly, and she rebuked that folly. She wasn't with it. He was with it. And you have to sit back and you have to look at that, because these two things can't meet in agreement. The law is clear on that. They can't meet in agreement. And if we say we love, because when he talking about love, he talking about you loving Yah. He talking about you loving your Elohim, loving your power, loving your mighty one, loving the one who sanctified you by the blood of his son, that you might return unto him through repentance and the works of faith and kadoshness, which is in Yahushua HaMashiach. That's what you got to sit back and look at it. This ain't just something to do. You got to really fully understand and encapsulate inside of your heart, inside of your soul and spirit, what exactly your Abba and Shamahim has done, why he did it, his purpose of doing it, and what that means to you. And when you understand that, you'll hold it in higher regard. And you're not going to care. It's just like this here, man. Put this out there yesterday. The line come from Jay and feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Niggas sit back and say that John all the time. Nothing to gain but a whole lot to lose. You still singing. Because that's how an individual will look at it. I told you that before. Nigga go to talk about everything he got to give up. He ain't fit for the kingdom of Elohim. You ain't fit for it, because you're not looking at what you're going to gain. You're steady looking at what you're going to lose. That's not the heart of a saved individual. That's not the heart of the son of Elohim. Yahushua didn't have a mind of, oh, everything I got to lose. He looked at what he had to gain. That's why he say the joy set before him, he endured the state. And he was sat down at the right hand of Elohim. He considered what he had to gain, not what he could lose. It's the same thing it said about Moses in the epistle to the Hebrews. He said he turned away, refused to be called Pharaoh's daughter. He'd rather suffer with the children of Elohim than enjoy sin, the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Mashiach of greater riches than the riches of Egypt. See, let's sit back. He didn't look at what he could lose. He looked at what he could gain. See, that's our biggest problem. We don't look at what we could gain. We only look at what we losing. You ain't fit for the kingdom with that type of mindset. You're not fit for it. You're not fit for it. That's why he told that man when he said, oh, let me go back. He said, hey, man, let the dead bury the dead. Go preach the kingdom of Elohim. Him that's looking back, put his hand to the plow, looking back, ain't fit for the kingdom. Because you're looking at back what you're losing and not what you're gaining. You ain't fit for it. You ain't got the mind for it. You ain't got the spirit for it. You really have to weigh that out in your mind. Nevertheless, 2 Corinthians 13:3. Since ye seek proof of Hamashiach speaking in me, which to you ward is not weak, but is mighty in you. For though he was crucified through weakness, Yet he lived by the power of Elohim. For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of Elohim towards you. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. So you have to know your own self. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. If the world hear you, then is Yahushua in you? Is he in you? Because the world ain't supposed to be able to understand your conversation. He said, they that are of the world speak of the world, and the world hears them. You got to think about that. You could think about it as you wish, how you will, but just weigh that out. Consider it. John 15. John 15 and 16. You could make it 15 and 15. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's got to be swallowed nonetheless. And if you choose not to swallow it, you're going to find yourself not in the kingdom. It's just that simple. It ain't that deep. It's very, very simple. And after this John 15 and 15, 15 and 14, or 13 and 13, we'll take ourselves back to 2 Samuel. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant know not what his master do. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Abba I have made known unto you. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of Abba in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I've chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. See, and that goes into a deeper and bigger scenario as you go to the pointing towards the end. Like the end with the beast and the false prophet. See, these niggas is running around. How I want to put it, based off what we just looked at. Dudes in these days and times are running around telling people that people hate you because you're an Israelite. That's what the world gonna hate you for. That's what they're gonna persecute you and kill you for. But that's not the case. He said, if you were of the world would love his own. So he said, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Well, let's sit back and look what's in you. Let's go back to John chapter 14. And let's look at verse 21. And let's examine what would be in you, which will cause you to rejoice in the truth. And remember, when we looked at rejoicing in the truth, we looked at that Gael, that Gamal, the Yod, and the Lamar, which was for you to lift up the work of the shepherd. So that means you are going to proclaim the work of Yahushua HaMashiach. And this is going to cause people to not care for you. He told you this repeatedly, and we're gonna examine that when we talk about rejoicing in the truth. We're gonna hold 2 Samuel 13 to come back and rejoice about not rejoicing in iniquity. And this is gonna go back to also showing how the world hates you, and that the world gonna love its own. He that have my commandments, this is John 14:21, and keep them, he it is that love me. He that loved me shall be loved of my Abba, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him. Boom. So he said, when you hear what he had to say, let's look at the commandment. Let's look at the commandment. Because he says that if you love him, you'll be loved of his Abba, and then they will manifest themselves. Well, he will manifest himself to you. I mean, he will show himself to you. He's going to show himself to you. So again, that also goes back to some of the things that we discussed on Wednesday. So what direction do I had one in my head, and it went away exactly what I wanted. And it's John chapter 6 is what I wanted in verse 26. We'll pick it up at verse 24. And then from John 6, we'll go to John 17. Remember, what Paul stated, he said, know that you are not reprobate unless Yahushua HaMashiach is in you. So that means he just said, if you keep his commandments, He'll love you. His Abba will love you, and he will manifest himself to you. And we're going to get to the part because he's going to tell you that he's going to dwell in you. We're going to get there. And then when we get there, we're going to see what is dwelling in you to cause people to hate you. When the people therefore saw that Yahushua was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum, seeking for Yahushua. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when came thou hither? Yahushua answered them and said, Truly, truly, I say unto you, you seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perish, but for the meat which endure unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him have Elohim Abba sealed. Then they said unto him, What shall we do that we might work the works of Elohim? Yahushua answered and said unto them, This is the work of Elohim, that you believe on him whom he hath sent. So when you look at it, we didn't talk about this before, and the epistle, John writes this in this epistle. So that commandment, and this take you back to let's go ahead and just get it for the law, because let's be clear with it. Deuteronomy 18. This is the commandment, a commandment of faith. At the end of the day is what it is. 18 and 18, it's a commandment of faith. 18 and 15, a commandment of faith. Yahuwah the Elohim, Deuteronomy 18 and 15. Yahuwah the Elohim will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren. Like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken. According to all that thou desire of Yahuwah the Elohim and Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, Let me not hear again the voice of Yahuwah my Elohim, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. Yahuwah said unto me, They have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. It shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. Let's go over here to John chapter 8. He said, whoever, so it's the word. It's the word that's supposed to be in you. That good old gospel of Yahushua, the good old word of salvation, lifting up the words of the shepherd. And, it's going to cause people to be, a little offended. Cause people to be like, I don't particularly care for that young gentleman. I don't particularly care for that young lady. Kind of really grind my gears. That's how they're going to feel. 8 and 21, John. Then said Yahushua again unto them, I go my way, and ye shall seek me, and ye shall die in your sins. Whither I go, you cannot come. Then said the Yahudim, will he kill himself? Because he said, whither I go, you cannot come. And he said unto them, Ye are from beneath, and I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world. I said therefore unto you that ye shall die in your sins. If you believe not that I am he, you shall die in your sins. Then said they unto him, Who art thou? Yahushua saith unto them, Even the same that I said unto you from the beginning. I have many things to say and to judge of you, but he that sent me is true. I speak to the world those things which I have heard of him. They understood not that he spake to them of Abba. Then said Yahushua unto them, When you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you shall know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself. But as my Abba hath taught me, I speak these things. And he that sent me is with me. And Abba hath not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him. And as he spake these words, many believed on him. So what do we conclude? He flat out told these people, I'm from above, you from beneath. You earthy, I'm a Shamahim. I'm of the word, I'm from heaven, I'm from Elohim. So when you turn around and you look at this again, the Ruach of truth and the Ruach of error, the people whom he was speaking to was of the Ruach of error. That's why they could not hear him, because they were of the world. When we looked at that in 1 John 2 and 15, it tells you love not the world, neither things in the world. Because in the things of the world is the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. Yo, it's somebody at the door. These things are not a Elohim. They're not a Elohim at all. You have to consider that. You have to weigh that. Because those are strong words. Those are strong words. What's up, Don? Let's take ourselves to John chapter 17 now. 17 and 14. 17 and 14. I have given them thy word. I have given them thy word, and the world have hated them. But they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou should take them out of the world, but that thou should keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. As thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. Neither pray I for these alone, but for them which also shall believe on me through their word, that they all may be one, as thou, Abba, art in me, I in thee, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me. And the esteem which thou give me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. I and them, thou and me, that they may be perfect in one, that the world may know that thou hast sent me, and hast loved them as thou hast loved me. Abba, I will that they also, whom thou hast given me, be with me where I am, that they may behold my esteem, which thou hast given me, for thou loved me from the foundation of the world. What was the thing that he gave them? It was the word, and the word is what caused the people to cause these people to be hated. Again, that's why I say, if you are of the world, and the world hears you, and the world understands you, and the world gets your speech, you are of the Ruach of error, meaning there is a good 99.9% accuracy that you're rejoicing in iniquity and not in the truth. And this is just based what the text is relaying. It's not my personal opinion. For some of y'all who just came on here, just like you mentioned it, you don't tell people to cut people off because you don't have to. Because Yah will cut people off. Because He's going to cut people off if you are staunchly an adherent to the word. Because get that Leviticus 20, what I mentioned, and y'all why I said. Because you just heard Yahushua say it, to sanctify them by the truth. That's to set you apart. So the word is going to set you apart. And this is based off what we hold it in 2 Samuel chapter 13 with Tamar and Ammon. Tamar was about to be raped by her brother. She told him, don't do that. You're going to be as a fool in Yasharal. When you rejoice in iniquity and you walk in iniquity, you are considered a fool, because fools make a mock at sin. So therefore, they're going to mock, laugh, clown, and in the end be incensed to the point of killing you, because they hate what you represent and what you're talking about and who you claiming. See, people got the game twisted. Ain't nobody hating you because you Yasharal. They hating you because you stand for the living Elohim. That's what they gonna hate you for. They gonna hate you for proclaiming the gospel of the Savior and Redeemer of mankind, Yahushua HaMashiach. They gonna hate you because you proclaiming kadoshness and righteousness and uprightness and the ruach of the living Elohim, and therefore they're going to have a problem with that. Because again, he that despiseth not man but Elohim. And a man can't serve two masters, and don't be unequally yoked, because what fellowship have light with darkness, and what fellowship have Mashiach with Belial? You can't rejoice in iniquity and in the truth. You can only rejoice in the truth, and you can only rejoice in iniquity. You can't do both. You can't do both. I think I'm in the wrong. I'm not in the wrong spot. I'm just tripping. 20 and 26. I get you right about 24 though. But I've said unto you, you shall inherit their land. I will give it unto you to possess it. A land that flow with milk and honey. I'm Yahuwah your Elohim, which have separated you from other people. You shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean, between unclean fowls and clean. You shall not make your souls abominable by beast or by fowl or by manner of creep on the ground, which I have separated you from you as unclean. And you shall be Kadash unto me, for I, Yahuwah, am Kadash, and have severed you from other people, that you should be mine. Now, of course, he's talking about what you can eat. But look at what he told you. There's a difference between what's clean and what's not, what's set apart and what's not. And when you do this, and you sever you, he's severing you from other people. This will cause those who have not been severed to be offended if you stand on that. See, Yasharal problem for the Jump Street was they wanted to be like the people around them. They didn't want to be set apart. See, you want to have the Ruach of truth and error at the same time, and you can't do that. You can't be in the world and be in Shamahim at the same time. You're either going to be from beneath or you're going to be from above. And you got to make a decision as it stands today, which one you going to be. Or you're going to continue to rejoice in that which is evil. And we're going to get to think that love don't think no evil. And if y'all remember what's in Hebrew, then you know what direction that's going to take us to. But let's take ourselves back to 2 Samuel 13. At the end of the day, everything that we've looked at, from not lifting yourself up, we didn't look at envy, really, not seeking your own will, long-suffering, kind. It's to really show us how to love Yahuwah and the fashion that we're supposed to. How to love, we need to go back to John 14, my bad. How to love Yahusha and the fashion that we're supposed to. If we say we seek deliverance. Some people don't seek deliverance, so it don't matter to them. John 14 and 22. Judas saith unto him, not Iscariot, Master, how is it that thou wilt manifest thyself unto us and not unto the world? Listen what he said. How are you going to show yourself to us, but not to the world? So that means, that's why he said, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world, because they that are in the world, they not seeing him. Yahushua answered and said unto me, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Abba will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him. Now he will be inside of you. He will dwell in you, which will cause you to be greater than he that is in the world because of that which exists within you, which is the Son of the living Elohim. The Son of the living Elohim can't exist in you and you dilly-dallying in the world. Remember what he told you. I would rather you be hot or cold than lukewarm. Since you're neither hot nor cold, but lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth. You either going to be of the truth or you're going to be of the error. You're either going to be from heaven or you're going to be of the earth. You cannot be both. You're either going to rejoice in iniquity or you're going to rejoice in the truth. You cannot do both. You're either going to be ruach or you're either going to be carnal. You cannot be both. So if we say we love Yah, then we have to really examine that. Because I'm going to tell you, look in the word and you're going to see it. Saul was of the world. That's why he hated David. Jonathan was of the ruach. That's why he loved David. Same word that was in David was in Jonathan. Indeed, a defect. Yeah. Saul couldn't hear David because the thing that was in David wasn't in Saul. The thing that was in Abel wasn't in Cain. The thing that was in Jacob wasn't in Esau. That's the bottom line difference of the two. The thing that was in Solomon wasn't in Absalom. That's why, and we're going to actually look at that. And you can see that with people rejoicing in iniquity and being of the world, so they hear the things of the world. You got to look at that. The book tell you about that. Let's look at that in 2 Peter. Let me show you one too. Now let's look at that in 2 Peter. People take it for a joke. People take it how they want it. It's your soul. It's your life. And you can do whatever you want and whatever you please with it. But you ain't got nothing to do with the consequences of what your actions are going to incur for you. All I can do is tell you what your consequences are for your actions, whether they be righteous or whether they be unrighteous. You can do what you want. You can do whatever you want. Because one thing about it, I'm not like this here, right? I stressed myself out continually to try to, hey man, don't do this here and do this here. Knowing that people gonna do what they want to do anyway. I utterly refuse. I'm gonna tell you, you want to discuss it, I'm gonna discuss it with you. I ain't gonna keep telling you over and over again. But you already know what to do and what not to do. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. If the information been laid out to you, by all means, go your way and do what you wish. Do as you will. Because I'm not finna stress myself out by now nigga who won't do what they want to do anyway. So not been there, done that, won't never do that again. Do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's gonna be. I can't make nobody do nothing. And I've known that without the word. You can't make nobody do nothing. You can't make nobody do nothing. You can't make nobody love you. You can't make nobody be your friend. You can't make nobody accept you. You can't do none of that. That has to be a reciprocated thing. That other person has to want to do that just as much as you want to do it. Straight up and down. They have to want to do that just as much. Y'all not gonna love you just because he want to love you. If you don't love him back, he's not gonna reciprocate that. If you're not seeking him, he's not gonna seek you. Straight up and down. And people need to sit back and realize that. You're only gonna get back the amount of effort that you're putting in. If you want somebody to reciprocate back. So if you want Yahuwah to reciprocate salvation back to you, you better put some effort behind it. And when you put some effort behind it, you're going to begin to see him separating you from the world. You're going to see him separating you from people. That's just what you're going to see. And if you don't see that, then just like we read in 2 Corinthians 13, you need to examine yourself whether you be in the faith or not. Because it's quite well you might not be in the faith. 2 Peter chapter 2. We'll pick it up at verse 15. It's just something to consider. That's all. Just weigh it and consider it. I already know. I tell you right now, I've been like that most of my whole life, but boy, I can go numerous days with no human interaction whatsoever. Like done, period. I'm talking about minimal. Like this here, I ain't just say I'm gonna cut all my friends off, all my peers off. I can't say family because I ain't got now. My family is extremely small. You know what I'm saying? Extremely small. A fourth is who I was raised with. Literally, not counting their children, only 3 people that I see I could see on a consistent basis, which I could say, yeah, shoot, that was just them. With the exception of my cousin mama, 4 people. That's it. 4 people. So I can't throw that in there. I ain't messing with none of my friends no more. Them niggas start fooling with me for whatever reason. Don't make no difference. He said, men will separate you from your company for his name's sake. All I did was went to chasing after the lamb. That was it. I ain't say, but I ain't call that nigga no more. I ain't going around there. Them niggas smoke weed, hitting hoes, none of that. People just start fooling with you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about people who I've been down with for as long as some of y'all been alive. Or close to how long some of y'all done been alive. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up and down. And then went through, indeed, praise y'all again. Indeed. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up and down. Yeah, sit back and, I'm telling you the truth. Some of y'all got friends you've been friends with 4, 5 years. Talking about being friends with people since you were 10. People you know since you about 7, 8, 9 years old. And you don't see these people no more. You don't talk to these people no more. People who you done went through real life scenarios with. You know what I'm saying? No, that ain't nothing but the word. Because if it wasn't for the word, we'd probably still be kicking it, doing the same stuff and all that. All that. What would be the difference? What would cause the separation? What would cause them not to understand you? Which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam the son of Bosor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his iniquity. The dumb ass, speaking with a man's voice, forbade the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with the tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness. Those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same he's brought in bond. So look at what he say they do. They like to allure through the lust of the flesh. That's what we seen with Tamar and Amon. He thinking he can allure her to do it. I love you, come lay with me. She wasn't thinking, nigga, you stupid. You dumb. You sound dumb. See, that's the difference between those who are the flesh and those who are the Ruach of truth and the Ruach of error, are those who rejoice in iniquity and those who rejoice in the truth. Because those who rejoice in iniquity are going to try to allure you through your desire. And if you're dealing with the lust of the flesh and the lust of your eyes, the love of Abba is not in you. It ain't there. Like, you got to think about that and weigh this stuff. And just like this here, right? Let me put it to you this way. I don't sit here every week and do this for my health. I could be asleep. I could be doing a lot of other things. So I'm not doing this stuff to hear myself talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this to say, look at what I know and look at the precepts I can run together. For what? How? That's not impressive. You know what I'm saying? At least not to me, not in my eyesight. I don't find that impressive in the least bit. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that if there's a brother who's nice with the word, you don't give me due respect. I'm saying I'm not impressed by that. I ain't doing it for that. You sit back and look at the word. I ain't got no money from it. Not sitting around here balling. I ain't touched a woman in 8 years, so I ain't getting no booty from it. I ain't getting no fame and no honor or no nothing from it. So then what is the purpose of doing it for? So souls can be saved. That's it. Y'all can sit back and look at it and sleep and slob and scroll on your phone and play with this and play with that and be distracted, and you're gonna find yourself somewhere you don't want to be. Y'all forbid I be there with you, because I ain't trying to go to hell with none of you niggas. You could take that trip by yourself. By yourself. I'm not taking that trip with you. I utterly refuse. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that serious. It's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? I could easily take this, what I know, and hold it to myself and live my life every day. And then, but guess what? I'm going to go to hell for that. Because I done told you to spread it, and you kept it to yourself. You wicked servant. I'm not going to do that. So nevertheless, John 14 yet again. Now we finished with John 14. We go to 2 Samuel 13. Because see, I'm going to tell you something. From what I done noticed, a lot of niggas be online, boy, they be like, that word be drawing them women in. They be like, I be wondering, like, boy, all these niggas be like, all these women be in their inbox, and you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. Then when you look at the stuff they standing on, I see why. Because you ain't really talking about nothing. Because if you're really talking about something, well, ain't too many gonna want to try to roll with you with that. Because that junk cutting off what they want to do. See, we gonna talk about this a little bit tomorrow, too. You know what I'm saying? You sit back and look at it. There's a reason why the book tell you, man, don't give his strength to no woman, no king. Because look here, boy, and some of them try to get you off your mission. Try to get you off your mission. Truth be told, a lot of niggas ain't on no mission, so it ain't hard to get them off. Male or female, you better stay on your mission. Your mission is to get to Zion. Don't let nobody deter you. Don't let no little batting of the eye, old smooth words deter you off of your mission. You'll be a fool at that point. 2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 12. Can't let nobody get you off your mission. Can't do that. Can't do that. Especially if you know what you done did and where you came from. That's extra stupid. That man could have killed me. I could have died in my sin. And you let stuff get you off your mission. Don't know how that's gonna work. Can't let that happen. Don't let the world and let the adversary and your flesh distract you from salvation. It ain't that serious. Ain't that serious. Just at the end of the day, matter of fact, let's look at it. John 5 for what I'm about to say. I mean Matthew 5 for what I'm about to say. I didn't want to read it off the page. I could have told it to you. I didn't want to read it off the page and let it sink in your heart. 5 and 6, Matthew. Baruch are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Now ask yourself, how hungry are you? If you can let everything in this life distract you from righteousness, you say that's what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? You say, oh, I believe, I got baptized, this, that, and the third. Nigga, you not hungry, nigga. You thought you were hungry, but you really wasn't hungry. Because if you're hungry, you ain't never satisfied. You treat it just like this, right? This here, right? I got on my phone. I just put it there just to put it there too. Occasionally, I go back and look at it. The first check that we ever got from the cleaning service. I ain't put the first check of the property preservation in there. Probably should have. The first real estate check we get, I'm gonna put that in my phone. So remember that you gotta keep hustling and keep that same feeling as you had from the day that you started. That same drive, that same commitment, that same determination in the midst of pitfalls, mistakes, failures, you know what I'm saying, losses and all of that. You have to keep that same level of hunger that you did when you started. You know what I'm saying? When I started lifting weights, like, I ain't talking about working out in prison. We doing body weight exercises. I'm talking about, I still remember the day I deadlifted for the first time in the gym. I couldn't even use the regular Olympic bar. I had to use the fixed bar. And I could care less about anybody in that gym looking at me deadlifting with this fixed bar. About 70 pounds, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. I still remember that. I remember getting the 400 pounds the first time, then hurting myself, and now we right back at that point 2 years after, because you have to stay hungry in what you're doing. Now you go back to May 2009. I remember hearing that word for the first time, the way he opened my mind to say, follow me. And it still is hungry 9 years later. It's not like, oh man, you know, no, you got to stay. See, when you're not hungry, that means you satisfied. See, some people look at, oh, if I make $1 million, I want to make another $1 million. And they look at that as greed. And sometimes it's not greed. I'm just not trying to be complacent and get comfortable. So once I become complacent and comfortable, that's when I begin to slack. And when I begin to slack, I begin to stop paying attention to detail. And when I stop paying attention to detail, my execution begins to wane. And when my execution begins to wane, then I begin to take losses. And now everything that I built has evaporated like heat to water. And now I have to start all over again to build it back up when all I had to do was stay hungry. See, when you're hungry, you're going to be determined, you're going to be disciplined, and you're going to be consistent, because this is what I want to do. And nothing is going to stop you. When you're not hungry, you're going to make excuses, you're going to be lazy, and you're not going to do nothing, and you're going to want somebody to pat you on your head for you not achieving the things that you said that you wanted to achieve. You know what I'm saying? If you don't achieve the things that you set out to achieve, it's your fault. It's not anybody else's fault. You can't point the finger at this person or that person. You need to look in the mirror and say, what is it that why am I not committed? Why am I not committed to what it is that I say I want to do and want to accomplish? You know what I'm saying? And we're going to deal with some of this tomorrow too, y'all willing. Like, you have to sit back and look at it like the people you choose to mate with, breed with, the people you choose to be friends with, are they committed to the things that they say they want to do? Because usually the people that you around, if they not committed and determined to it, guess what you going to be? A lazy, sorry bastard. You know what I'm saying? You enter into a partnership with some, y'all, and if they don't even, you should really even be looking at it, does this person even have those type of traits? I seen a man talking about this the other day, like enter into a business partnership ain't no different than enter into a relationship. What characteristics and attributes are you desiring? Niggas picking because they look good. Because he seems smart. But if the nigga lazy and has no ambition and no drive and no determination and no consistency and no discipline, guess what's going to end up you not going to have? You're not going to have it either, because it's who you around every day. And if you don't have a strong mind, that junk going to rub off on you. And guess what your children going to be? Exact replicate. We don't think about any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But let's look at our God. Determined, disciplined, consistent, and driven for the task of hanging himself on a tree and shedding his blood for the redemption of a people who was not worthy of said sacrifice. You ought to move with that same hunger. I would say so. What say you? You ought to move with the same hunger. Back to 2 Samuel chapter 13. You got to want it. Can't nobody want it for you. Can't nobody want Zion for you. Do you want it? Verse 12, 2 Samuel 13. And by the way, that conference call number is 641-715-0857. It's 641-715-0857 with the passcode of 488-741. That is 488-741. And yeah, that's periodic mentions of that. I've probably done it like 3-4 times already. Y'all willing? I'll probably do it 3-4 more times before we finish. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done to Yasharal. Do not thou this folly. And whither shall I cause my shame to go? As for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Yasharal. Now therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king. He would not withhold from thee. Howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he loved her. And Ammon said unto her, Arise, be gone. She said unto him, There is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou did unto me. But he would not hearken unto her. What does the key component do we see right here? It's that once his lust had been achieved, he no longer had a desire for what he was lusting after, because it wasn't love involved. He didn't love this woman. He just desired something from this woman. And once he accomplished his desire, she didn't hold the seed. So you see how they say love don't provoke? See, he abhorred her. See, it was never love. See, it was rooted out of lust, and it was rooted out of the flesh and out of carnal eyes. You have to sit back and you got to look at that. See, if you say you're a spiritual woman, you're supposed to pay attention to that. How did this man move towards you? You'll be able to know if he loved you with the love of Yah. We so stupid and retarded, we look at the wrong stuff. You know why? Because you confuse love with lust. I guarantee you, probably 75% of the people who are married on this earth, word or no word, if they knew what the love of Yah was, they wouldn't be with the person they married with right now. They would have seen that what they thought was love was really lust the whole time. The whole time. Just was a strong desire. That was just something you desired. Not realizing your desire can get you in trouble. Your desire can lead you in the wrong direction. His desire got Ammon killed. We know Absalom took him out. He get you killed. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 20. That's what happened. You rejoice in iniquity. It got him killed. That's the point. Don't do it. You love Yah. You ain't rejoicing in that. Don't make you happy. You don't get off on that. 20:1. See, now we're going to look at a different aspect of nigga rejoicing in some lawlessness. No good bastards. Did no good. I say no good because of the name that we about to read. That's why I said it. I just wasn't saying it just to say it. And there happened to be there a man of Belial, whose name was Sheba, the son of Berechi, a Benjamite. He blew a trumpet and said, We have no part in David, neither have we an inheritance in the sons of Jesse. Every man to his tents, O Yasharal. So look what did no good bastard undone. This a man of Belial, meaning he worthless, he wicked, he ain't no good. He don't hold no weight. Worthless man. That's why Paul wrote, What agreement have Mashiach with Belial? Yahushua is worth personified. Value, weight, things to offer of a spiritual nature. And you gonna tell me you agree with a nigga who worthless? A nigga who ain't got nothing to offer as means of the spiritual endurance, righteousness, truth, judgment, mercy, goodness, faith, nothing? Makes absolutely no sense when you look at it in that aspect. That's why I say don't rejoice in iniquity, rejoice in the truth. That's why we had a Ruach of truth and a Ruach of error. You have to look at that and pay attention to that, to what he's really trying to explain. Because this man say we ain't got no inheritance with the son of Jesse. So why? Because we can't hear him. I'm a man of Belial. How am I hear this man? Now how you ain't got no inheritance with this man? Listen to what he say in verse 2. He say, So every man of Yasharal went up from David and followed Sheba the son of Berechi, but the men of Yehuda clave unto their king from Jordan, even unto Jerusalem. So look at this here, right? Every man of the house of Yasharal followed this nigga. We ain't got no inheritance with him neither. Let's look at something, right? Acts chapter 5. You gotta pay attention to that type of stuff, man. They were of the world. Couldn't hear David. But they could hear him who was of the world. They could hear that man of Belial. That mean they rejoiced in iniquity for following. Ain't nobody ever sit back and consider, boy, y'all with this man. Y'all's with this man. I seen it. But it's a man after y'all's own heart. I'm going to follow the wicked nigga. Come on, man. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's why he say, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible. 5:33, Book of Acts, man. That's horrible. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. When they heard that, they were cut to the heart and took counsel to slay them. Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of Torah, had a reputation among all the people, commanded to put the apostles forth a little space. And he said unto them, ye men of Yasharal, take heed to yourselves. What you intend to do is touching these men. For before these days rose up Thodius, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain. And as many as obeyed, and were scattered and brought to naught. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and even as many as obeyed him were dispersed. And now I say unto you, now we good. Well, now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of Elohim, you cannot overthrow it, lest happily you be found even to fight against Elohim. So when we come back to David, right, that's what we see what they got doing. Sheba coming, he leading a revolt. Pause. When we sit back and we look at something, right, he said that one of the things that y'all hate is sowing discord amongst brethren. Now let's look at another thing. Pause. Galatians, my apology, chapter 5. And it's going to come into what we're looking at, where love tell you, love don't think any evil. And you know, when you look at think, you have the word kashab. That's something that you plan, something you esteem, something you value, something you regard, devise, or plan. So you usually value or regard your device or plan of wickedness. You know, it's got the cot, the shan, and the bot, and we turn around and we look at it to see how you'll be consumed and separated from the house. So when you begin to think evil, and we've seen that happen with Ammon, he thought evil, and he got consumed and separated from the house because Absalom killed him. When you sit back and you look at evil, you have something that's disagreeable. You have the Rosh and you have the Ayin. And you know what you're going to end up doing? You're going to sit back and see how that shepherd's staff, you're going to get to experience it and you're going to get to know it. You're going to get to experience and know the shepherd's staff. You're going to get to experience and know the shepherd's staff of discipline. You're going to get to know it because you thought about evil, meaning you just didn't think, kill that nigga. No, you value and regarded murder. You value and regarded envy. You value, and matter of fact, now you done devised and planned it. You esteemed it, which take you back to rejoicing in iniquity because you found that to be good in your eyesight. Psalm 66:18, if I'm not mistaken, and Yahuwah willing, my accuracy is on point. We just talked about this not too long ago, if my memory serves me correctly. And it's 66:18. That man told you if you regard iniquity in your heart, he will not hear you. So when you regard sin of any type, you rejoice, he ain't going to hear you. And why would he not hear you? Because you are of the world. And the world is not, why would Yah, who is not of the world, hear someone who is of the world? Make it make sense. Make that make sense. When Yahushua himself said, the world won't hear you because you are not of the world. If you were of the world would hear you. So now you regarding evil in your heart. You esteem it. You regard it. He said if you regard iniquity in your heart, he will not hear you. And then you wondering why he don't. You got to think about that. And that coming down to one simple thing. Are you of the Ruach of truth or the Ruach of error? Greater is he that is in you. Is Yahushua in you or is you in you? Ask yourself that question. Again, Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith, lest you be reprobate. He said, we pray you don't be no reprobate. Because if you reprobate, you're not retaining the knowledge of Elohim in your heart. Which means you don't regard it. You don't value it. That's why he say, Abba, the world hath not known thee. Because I've told y'all this 1,000 times before. True righteous men and women are not valued in this life. That's why they overlooked. That's why they forsaken. That's why they trodden down. That's why they persecuted against. That's why they disrespected. And that's why they rejected. Because people don't value or esteem or regard any of that. They don't really love it or like it. Because it is a reflection of the things that they are not. And it's not because the person is trying to say, I'm better than you, and this, that, then, the third. They stand for Yahuwah. They stand for Yahusha. They rejoice in the truth. Therefore, they lift up the works of the shepherd in word, in deed, and in truth. And people don't like that. So they want a facsimile, a watered down version of the thing that they profess to desire. You have to really pay attention to that. And it ain't just got to be with no spouse. It could be friends, family. Men don't, they don't make no difference. Righteousness is despised in the earth. And you know why I know this? Because Yah said so. It's despised in the earth. People don't really like it. They don't really like it. Ask yourself the question. Anybody can comment if they feel so. Why do you think it's more promoted of we Yasharal than it's more of the righteousness of faith, which is Yahushua HaMashiach? Ask yourself why. Because ain't no stand. See, they try to play that game when you know your heritage, when you know your culture, then you know what your purpose in life was. Nigga, you don't need to know that to know what your purpose in life was. Your purpose in life was to obey and believe Yah. You don't need to know none of that to do that. That's a cap. So you mean to tell me knowing that is going to cause me and motivate me to believe, trust, hope, and endure and bear all things in the hope that Yahuwah will fulfill the things which he has promised? Nigga, that sound retarded. That don't even make common sense and don't nobody believe it. We know why nobody don't believe it? Because we see how all our people behave. Just based off of having that information. We see how they behave. Pause. We were going to Galatians 5. Let me get that, and then I get the second thing, because I ain't even get all of it. I didn't want y'all to think about that. You can answer it if you wish. You can give your perspective. I don't mind. That's just how I see it. That's what I've noticed over the last 9 years. They'll promote that to you in a heartbeat. But the righteousness of Elohim, that's why I say going about to establish your own righteousness, you haven't submitted yourself to the righteousness of Elohim, and it ain't being proclaimed. Lift up the works of the shepherd. Let the gospel of Yahushua be proclaimed, and how you got power over sin and death through this man. Nobody want to talk about that. First thing nigga want to scream, can't nobody keep Torah. Then what we doing it for? Keep it to the best of your ability. That man ain't never told me that. I ain't never read nowhere y'all told me to do nothing. He told me keep all the words of this Torah. Then he told me, turned around and the son came, and he said, hey, man, everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. Yahushua say, dwell in him. Yahushua told me, he that commits sin is a servant of sin. So if I commit sin, so if we can't keep it, I'm a slave to sin, and the slave don't enter in the house forever. Oh, you got me bent, cuz. No, sir. No, sir. Because if the slave can't enter in the house forever, it's because he's been planning, devising, and regard iniquity. That's what's got him separated from it. But we'll read that in a minute too. Praise the Lamb for the word. Go to there. Galatians chapter 5. Pick it up about verse 17, man. Just let the word tell you what to do. Word ain't gonna never lead you wrong. Man will. Y'all ain't gonna lead you wrong. All you gotta do is listen to the word. Word tell you exactly what to do. For the flesh lusts against the Ruach, and the Ruach against the flesh, and these things are contrary one to another, so that you cannot do the things that you would. But if you be led of the Ruach, you are not under Torah. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, sedation, heresy. What do we come here for? Sedations. See, a sedation is a revolt. And that's what you see Sheba doing in 2 Samuel 20. That's why they were, and all the men were rejoicing in iniquity because they wanted to revolt. They knew David was the king over Yasharal. There wasn't no kingdom split. This wasn't look at here, right? This is a Benjamite, somebody who down with Saul, who was evil, who was wicked, who was disobedient. This man's the son of Belial, and he convinced all these people, we ain't got no inheritance. We ain't gonna get nothing. So let's not follow him. Let's come over here. Do what we do. Nigga, come talking righteous, looking righteous, you fall for it. Well, you ain't fall for it. You just went after what you wanted. Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revilings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I've told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim. That's why he told them he ain't had no inheritance, and they ain't had none, because they committed such things, and they regarded such things, and they rejoiced in such things, and therefore the love of Elohim was not with them, and therefore they didn't get what they were looking for. Simple as that. Now I done forgot where I was gonna go after that. Probably should have did it right then. Lord have mercy, my mind getting bad. But think about that. And again, the conference call number is 641-715-0857. 641-715-0857. Passcode of 488. Hello. 741. That's 488-741. You know? Think about that, you know what I mean? Weigh that out. Consider it. Sedations. So that's somebody who's trying to cause a revolt or purposely separate. Oh yeah, we was going to John 8. Praise the Lamb. Praise Yah for Yahusha. Right on time. Right on time. John 8:30. 1. I didn't want you to consider, man. I want everybody's soul to be saved. Y'all knows I want mine. Y'all knows I want mine. I don't know how bad some of y'all want yours to be saved. I want it with every ounce of my being all the way to my last breath. There's a couple things I want to accomplish for in this lifetime. I done told my nigga before a couple times, if I made $1 million, I could die the next day. I'd be satisfied. It ain't even about the money. I just want to be able to say I made $1 million. Just through the sure will and determination, the drive of taking something from absolutely nothing and building it all the way up to a 7-figure organization. I could rest peacefully upon my bed on a natural level after that. Surely good. That's about it. Do that and enter in y'all kingdom. That's about it. That's about it. I'll be good. I can do them 2 things. The other things, certain other things, are outside of my control. Whether I want to do those or not, that's outside of my control. So that is what it is. Then said Yahushua to those Yahudim which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and we've never been in bondage to any man. How say thou, you shall be made free? Truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin. And the servant abide not in the house forever, but the Son shall abide forever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. Now pause and consider that. A nigga telling you, you can be in Yahushua, you got to get the Ruach, the Ruach. So, and I don't say, and I ain't said this in a long time, but I'm saying it again. Ruach HaKodesh dwell in you and you commit sin, nigga, you going to hell, you just blaspheme. Because now you just said the Ruach of Elohim leads men into sin. And that's just a lie from hell. So, if he will set you free, you shall be free. What is this freedom? 2 Corinthians chapter 3. Because see, if he set you free, you rejoicing in the truth. I will tell you this here. Now, if the better part too. Now, what I just mentioned, having $1 million of generating that is if I had a child to leave it to. But that is outside of my control. Because to have a child, you have to have other components. It's not the same if I leave it to other people's children, because those are not my children. No, it's not the same. 3 and 16. I would hope that most of y'all would want to leave something to your children, or at least working towards leaving something for your children. I seen a sister say something today, really resonated with me, how black people ridicule generational wealth, feel like their kids supposed to struggle like they struggle. It's really simply retarded. I think I was about 14 years old, maybe 15. It might have been 9th or 10th grade. I may have seen it before then, but this when I remember this, I remember it. You know what I'm saying? Clear as day. It was 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember this history teacher name, but he looked like Tackleberry off Police Academy. I really like that dude too. He's a good dude. But in there was talking about, and I told you this, we were talking about the Carnegies and the Kennedys and the J.P. Morgan and what's that dude's name? Rockefeller. But they called it old money. They didn't use the term generational wealth. They called it old money. You know what I'm saying? Of how their family members, the Vanderbilts and the DuPonts and all that, their descendants were living off of the money that one person in their family had generated, which was benefiting multiple generations after their decease. And then I'm dealing with the word, and I see that in the word. Now you got to remember, this is a gap from 15 years old to 29 years old. So it's like, boom, about half my life that I see these two elements, one in the natural, one in the spiritual. I turn around and I see that in Proverbs, a father leave an inheritance to his children's children. And then I turn around and I see Yahusha, he's called the Mighty Elohim, Abba, this, that, and the third. And I seen that he left an inheritance for his children. Because remember, he said he that overcome shall inherit all things. He or she shall be my son, and I'll be his Elohim, he inherit all things. So then I see that he set up something to leave an inheritance to generations of his offspring to come after him. So because I already had the mindset as a teenager that this is what I was going to seek by whatever means that I could find to accomplish that task. And then I turn around and I come across the word and I see the same thing. That's why I tell you that is a satisfying achievement, because then I would look at it as a man. I have fulfilled my duty as a man. Do you know what I'm saying? So some people may not look at it that way. If I was to die and to leave my children nothing, I would look at myself as a failure as a man, because I have not done what a man is supposed to do. Now, I'm not saying any of y'all got to look at yourself like that. I'm just giving you my perspective. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? If we have the ability to be disciplined and committed and determined and hungry for whatever avenue in life naturally that you're seeking to do, there's no reason where your children or your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren should be struggling in poverty like you may have had. There's no reason for that. Do you know what I'm saying? At that point, we're being extremely selfish. Extremely, extremely selfish. And we shouldn't be that way. And then when I take that and I translate that over to the word, and I see the selflessness of Hamashiach and the work that he was willing to do and the drive and consistency and determination that he had to make sure that his offspring, and I'm going to grab the verse just to grab it, that his offspring was going to be able for generations after him to have an inheritance. I knew for certain I ain't got no excuse not to do so if the opportunity presents itself. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, if you sit back and you look at myself, there was no way that I could ever dare breed with a woman who didn't have that same thought process. Because we're not going to speak the same language. And I ain't even talking about on the natural side. You know what I'm saying? We're not even going to be able to speak the same. I don't understand you. So I'm not going to find you attractive. I'm not going to have eyes for you. I'm not even going to exhibit that manner of interest and love towards you, because we don't relate. And it's going to be impossible. And I'm not going to force myself to do it just to have a child. So, why did I mention all of that in that aspect? Because that's what we do when we in the world. The Apostle John wrote that we are in him, and we as he is, we are in the world, but not of the world. And see, we end up making ourselves being in the world and trying to do what your ancestors did, which is commingle with the world and serve God at the same time. When you just got to be willing to say, I don't hear you, I don't understand you, we don't meet in the same spot. And it's all good, baby. It's no beef, it's no pressure, it's nothing, it's none of that. It's just that I don't hear you. I don't speak your language. I don't understand. Your objectives and the things that you desire are not the same as mine. So we're not going to mesh. We're not going to jive. We're not going to roll. Like, seriously though. And now that I'm thinking about it, y'all willing, we'll deal with it in the near future, where he tell you, in all things be ye men, and sit back and look at the things of what Yah himself did. And when you see the things that Yah himself did, you see the exemplary example, which is really a double negative on my part, the exemplary personification and manifestation of what a man should be, what a man should think, what he should do, the principles that he stands for, the direction that he leads his woman, the direction that he teaches his children, and everything that he stands for. Because it's beautiful. The things that this man is about is simply beautiful. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And that's when you go into the Ruach of truth and the Ruach of error, and you see the difference between the two. See what I'm saying? Nevertheless, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 15. But even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when they shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. Now the Lord is that Ruach, and where the Ruach of the Lord is, there is freedom. Remember, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Because you don't think any evil, because you think good. Remember, he tells you that Psalm 97, Amos 5, numerous other places. You that love Yahuwah, love the good and hate the evil. So because you think upon good, and this is going to cause you to be paired and separated to enter into the house. But because you think upon evil, you're going to be consumed and separated from the house. Then you're going to experience his discipline or his wrath. When you look at these two men, whether it be Sheba or whether it be Tamar or Ammon, they thought upon evil, and this is what they got. But when this man tell you that the servant of sin is a slave, or he that commits sin is a slave to sin, but where the son is, you shall be free indeed. Then there's inheritance of freedom. And where that freedom is, it come under rule. That's why I told you beforehand. People look at what they got to lose versus what they got to gain. You lose the bondage of sin and the weight of all the things you've been carrying to gain everlasting life. So you got to change that thought process of everything to lose and nothing to gain. Why are you singing that song? Why are you singing that song? Isaiah 59 and 20. See, it's the one thing about it, right? And I know this in life. Everybody can't run a business. You know why everybody can't run a business? Everybody can't seek to run a business for one reason and one reason alone. That's why some people ain't even fit to even be married or even be parents, the truth be told, because it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility. When you say, I'm going to run a business, or I'm going to be a husband, or I'm going to be a father, that is a lot of responsibility. And you have to be man enough to stand up to the task and say that I'm going to do this, and this. Because like if you own a business, you have to know every aspect of that business. And it's not on some old, if the workers don't show up, it just don't get done. You got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And see, when people sit back and they look at it and all the work that it entails, and the discipline, and the dedication, and the commitment, and the consistency that it entails, they be like, no, I'm straight. So people see the same thing when they end up becoming a husband, when they see all the discipline, and the commitment, and the consistency that it entails. Niggas crumple under that. And the same thing with a father. You got children. And you see all the discipline and the consistency and the commitment that entails. Niggas be like, nah, I don't do all that. I'm a dip. I'm gonna slide. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna leave my wife with all these responsibilities. I'm gonna just sit in the back, you know what I'm saying, with my hand in my pants like Al Bundy drinking a beer, and I'm oblivious. Because these are major responsibilities. And that responsibility that you standing up to do is in reality supposed to be setting up for generations that you will never see. That they could be moving off the fruit of your brain and your labor because you thought to do good versus thinking to do evil. Because you rejoiced in that which was good instead of rejoicing in that which was evil. But you have to weigh that out. Because we the first thing I'm a man, I'm a grown man, I'm a man, but we don't move and live by them principles. We don't hold our own selves or other individuals accountable if you have first-hand knowledge that niggas is not doing such. Niggas just really want to get their little penis wet. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas just want to show off their kids to act like they really parents, but you not. Niggas junk ain't no photo op, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at, and it's sad. You know what I'm saying? Imagine where any of us would have been if the mindset of our parents were different. And we can't blame them because they got the mindsets and perspectives that they got based off the environment that they were raised in. So we can't hold them to that. We're just talking about a cataclysmic, you know what I'm talking about? You know, a paradigm shift in mentality. That if that mentality was different, then our outcomes probably would be different right now. Because we would be set up and doing different things. Case in point, this matter of fact, this is my example, then we're going to roll on. The Kerner Commission. You could research this for yourself. The Kerner Commission was commissioned by Lyndon B. Johnson to establish, he set it up and they did it years afterwards, to look at the effects of integration. Integration caused that paradigm shift in our community. Forces a shift of do for yourself, produce for yourself, own your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hiring your family members and trying with the best of the ability what they had at hand, because it's not like all these black folks had a whole bunch of wealth or this, that, there, and the third. But the shift was, what they were trying to do at the time was, because of how the society was set up based off of Jim Crow and all other mitigating factors of American imperialism and white supremacy at that particular time, that they thought to have their own, to have something to bequeath to their offspring. But once you were able to integrate, and now you can go to the schools and you can really, work on their job. Now, don't get it twisted. Ain't nothing wrong with these people saying, I want to be treated like a human being and drink out the same water fountain that you drink out of. That I want to defecate in the same toilet that you defecate in. That I want to be able to ride on the same bus that you ride on. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, fundamentally standing up as a person, whether you male or female, and say, I desire to be treated as a human being. We will not denigrate that or minimize what these people were struggling and fighting for, because that's your fundamental right as a person. Nobody ought to treat you in that fashion. That's not just, that's not right, that's not cool at all. That's what they were fighting for. Treat me as a human being. But in the midst of that fight, and you begin to assimilate into these people, you begin to assimilate in their culture, lose focus on that. Not all black people, not all of them. But a lot of us began to lose focus on that. So now you're not focused on this, that, and the third. And then you get from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s and the 80s, and you get to the 80s and crack on the street. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the 90s and you have so many black people getting incarcerated for minimal drug charges and getting incarcerated for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And the next thing you know, you got what you got now in 2018. A bunch of lame cornball children. You know what I'm saying? Can we blame it on the people who raised them? Yeah, to a certain extent, but it's a cultural shift. It was a shift in mentality to change the mentality of people for you to regard and desire things of no consequence. So now you have people who are trying to help shift that thought process back to what it may have been 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years ago in a particular segment of a population. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same token, nobody is saying how dedicated you have to be, because people are using generational wealth as a catchphrase. Clickbait, if you will. You know what I'm talking about? Entrepreneur, just a term that people throw out there because they think it's cool. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And nobody's really expressing the work that involves, and last and certainly not least. And now you get the term Israelite and Hebrew thrown around and bandied about as if it's just, a hashtag, clickbait, this, that, there, and the third. You know what I'm saying? And not the level of commitment of what you are stepping up and saying that you're going to do. Like, people don't weigh out their decisions and the choices that you make of what you say you're going to do and what you're involving yourself in. That's why he say you got to sit down and count the costs. Do you got sufficient to pay? Do you have the intestinal fortitude and the mental toughness and desire and hunger to accomplish what you set out to do? You know what I'm saying? And if you say you a man, you should want a woman who makes sure that you stay on top of that, and vice versa. And you should want friends who are around you to make sure that you stay on top of that. And you should be on your children. You should plant in your children a desire for achievement and success. And you should always let them know that they can be successful. And you should never compare them to what other people are doing. Doesn't matter what this nigga over here doing. You tell me out of prison and got it. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Do you know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to do with me. So don't mention to me what another nigga doing. Because that's what's the main thing that we've got our society messed up now, because we worrying about what other people doing, and you're judging your level of success based off another person. I ain't worried about why he got. If he got there, I'm going to clap my hand for him, boy, like this here. And I'm coming to meet you. I'm coming to get on the top of Mount Everest with you. You can't compare yourself to other people. Ain't no need of trying. You need to be the best version of you and do what's necessary for you to get to where you want to go. Nevertheless, Isaiah 59:20. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression, and Jacob, saith Yahuwah. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahuwah, my ruach that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth. And you see that go back to what we looked at in Deuteronomy 18, John 14, all the stuff from the beginning. Shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith Yahuwah, from henceforth and forever. So why did I read that? Let's go to Hebrews 8. Because now we see that Yahuwah has taken this Redeemer who's got an inheritance, which is his Yahuwah's ruach, and the words that Yahuwah put in his mouth. And he said, now leave this an inheritance to your seed and your seed's seed. That's why I say where the ruach of the master is, where the ruach of Yahushua is, there is freedom. That's why he told his apostles, stay in Jerusalem till you be endued with power from on high. Now go out and preach the gospel of the kingdom and preach the death, burial, resurrection of Yahushua. I'm going to read it and let Peter tell you about it. But let's go to Hebrew 8, right? Praise the Lamb. Hebrew 8 and 8. I'm going to let Peter tell you about it. After we get to Hebrew 8, you go to Acts chapter 2. We just let Peter tell you about it. You know what I'm saying? Tell you, right? Yah is beautiful. His word is beautiful. His son is beautiful. Righteousness is beautiful. It ought to be exemplified, personified, and exalted on every cut and corner throughout this whole entire earth. Sadly, it is not, but blessed are those who do personify it, exalt it, and proclaim the name of Yahuwah and Yahushua on every cut and corner, not just with their mouth, but with their lives. And may you receive a full reward, and Shamahim, and receive your crown. You know what I'm saying? To those that don't, may your name be written in the earth, and you receive your reward. He said, make it verse 7. Make it 6, matter of fact. But now have he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is a mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Yasharal and with the house of Yehudah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Mizraim, because they continued not in my covenant, I regarded them not, saith Yahuwah. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Yasharal after those days, saith Yahuwah. I will put my Torah into their mind and write it in their hearts, and I will be to them an Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. They shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahuwah, for they shall all know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. Now, Paul, it just came to my mind, right? John chapter 17, right? And after that, we go to John 14. And this all time back to the stuff we were looking at earlier. Because people, and we still got Acts 2 on that, right? So you got a lot of people that scream, see the new covenant in effect, because we still saying, no Yah, no Yah. But he said those that had his Torah in their heart, they wouldn't need to go around telling nobody to know Yah, because everyone who had it would already know him, and nobody would have to tell them about him. Nobody have to do that. Pay attention to what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would have to do that. And I'm going to show you why right here. John 17, verse 25. Then what he say? O righteous Abba, the world have not known thee, but I have known thee. And these have known that thou hast sent me. And I have declared unto them thy name, and will declare it, that the love wherewith thou hast loved me may be in them, and I in them. So pause. He say the world ain't known him. So if nobody has to be, if you have to be told no, y'all, that means you of the world, which means 99.9% of the time, you are rejoicing in iniquity and you're thinking evil. So therefore you are separated from him. Those who rejoice in the truth will be included with him. He said, I've declared unto them thy name, and they believe that thou hast sent me. And if they believe, well, let's just sit back and look at that. Bear with me, because there's a lot of things coming to my head for this particular matter. John chapter 6. Six and 68. We get straight to the point. Y'all know he said, the words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. People always use that term, speak life into people. Well, shoot, all you got to do is speak the word, nigga. You want to speak life into somebody, speak the word. And if they go to fleeing, then guess what they would be? Of the world, because they wouldn't hear you. Somebody of the world. See, you have to sit back and ask yourself, do you want to hear the word for just to know it? You know what I'm saying? To do the bare minimum of what you think gonna save you? Or do you want to hear the word for the strength and the life that it emanates and oozes out of it to those who hunger and thirst for it, who partake in its delight? Because he told you open your mouth wide and he'll fill it. He'll fill it. Say, I ask yourself something, right? If we was to look in these days and times versus in the days of Yahushua. But them people followed this man everywhere he went for that word. Those who really want, they went everywhere he went for that word. They were looking for this man about no word. But you can't pay niggas in 2018 to do nothing like that because you don't really want it that. You don't really want it that much. You don't really want it that much. Because it's going to cause for you to have too much focus off the stuff that means absolutely nothing. Like this here, man, them people looking for this man, boy. Like, what? Who? Where he at? Show me where he at. Some were just coming for the miracles. Some were coming for the word. Like, boy, I'm trying to hear what he's talking about. I used to tell my sister all the time, both of them, matter of fact, that wasn't Acts 28 to get that paper right. This is like, we used to have this conversation like 2012, 2013. You know what I'm saying? Be like how Paul had it. Just have a spot where people could come and you could, because that's what we used to do. Where we was at. Like, shoot, boy, if you're trying to get some word, boy, you come in here and get it. We passing it out like, it's nothing. Come through, knock on the door. That's what they were coming there for. And we here for you. It's not a big deal. What you trying to hear? We ain't talking about no hit me up asking no question. Like, boy, I'm trying to get some words. You gonna break me off? Yeah, I got you. What you trying to hear? Like, do like what we doing right now. We just do it every day. Every day. Wasn't no big deal. Every day. Because they were looking for it. If it was a dude around my way, and I know he had it, but I didn't get tired of seeing me, boy, I see that nigga every day. What was happening? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? What you talking about? You got some time? Because I got some time. Straight up and down. That's if you're hungry for it, if you desire it. I wouldn't care how tired you were, how hungry you were, how much your body hurt. Y'all know how many times I've been tired? You know how many times my body done hurt? I'm talking about in excruciating pain. You know what I'm talking about? Depressions and all. It don't make no difference. That's my problem. That ain't got nothing to do with y'all. That's my problem. That's a personal problem. That's a personal problem. That ain't got nothing to do with y'all. That ain't got nothing to do with him. Like this here, man. Like this here. Think about it. Weigh it out. We got to be hungry. Niggas like this here, man. If you lose your hunger, you wasn't hungry to start with. You just want to do something. John 6 and 68. Then Simon Peter answered him, Master, well, maybe 6 and 67, or 66. From that time, many of the disciples went back. Well, we got to do 65. He said, therefore, no man can come unto me except it were given to him of my Abba. From that time, many of the disciples went back and walked no more with him. Then said Yahushua unto the 12, will you also go away? Then Simon Peter answered him, Master, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life. And we believe and are sure that thou art the Hamashiach, the Son of the living Elohim. But did you hear what Peter said? You got the words of eternal life. And we believe. So they believed the word. That's what they were. That's what they was happy about. When we read about them rejoicing, because we focused on this rejoicing in the truth a lot on Wednesday. When we read that part, when he came in there, Hosanna to the highest, Baruch is he that come in the name of Yahuwah, they knew that man had that word. It was the words of the living Elohim. And that made their heart sing. That brought joy to their heart. And remember we talked about that? When being a man after Yah's own heart, one of the fruits of the Ruach is joy. And every single solitary individual who Yah was with in this book, you seen that word brought joy to their heart. Not no, I'm happy I'm an Israelite. Nigga, please, that sounds stupid. And I don't care who don't like it. That sounds stupid. I'm happy to be an Israelite. Nigga, what is that? What does that mean? Hold on, pause. Galatians 6, if I'm not mistaken. Grabbed it earlier. That's not it. That's not it. It might be Ephesians. That's not it. That is not it. It's not Ephesians 6 either. I think it was Galatians, and I looked right over what I wanted. And it was Galatians chapter 6, because it was on the opposite page. 6 and 12. Like, that don't make no sense, man. Niggas said they got joy for knowing they're an Israelite, but not joy in the salvation of Yahuwah. Not joy in the sacrifice of a Mashiach and the giving of, and we still got to get Acts chapter 2, and the giving of the Ruach HaKodesh unto men. That don't make you happy? Come on, man. I've been told y'all numerous times, I ain't get no joy finding out I was an Israelite. I ain't feel no joy at all. No happiness, no nothing. That junk ain't even resonated in my brain. Only thing resonated in my brain, boy, this word real. And I'm going to hell. Yah's my witness, my exact thoughts. The whole book is true, and I'm going to hell. Those were my exact thoughts in that moment. Never forget it. As long as I live, those were my exact thoughts. But this whole book true. This whole book true. You know what I'm saying? Like, boy, this the real deal. That's the first thing clicked in my head. Boy, this whole book true. This whole book true. Now, yeah, we the people. None of that. That's the first thing I thank y'all for it too. That's the first thing came in my head. Boy, this whole book true, boy. Boy, you finna go to hell. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, boy, this thing real, boy. Boy, it's time to do, boy, you're gonna have to change your life. Boy, this thing, this is real. Like, this ain't no joke. This ain't for play. This is real. This is real. Like, this is real. This is for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? When niggas started hustling, niggas know this for real. Niggas get killed. Niggas go to prison. I catch the first case, do a little county time, you go to prison, but niggas already knowing, like, this real. These people really finna send me up the road. I'm really on this Bluebird, headed to Lake Butler. I'm really being humiliated as a man, standing in a line with butt naked men with my head on a bench and my butt cheeks spread open for a cracker to look in my butt. I'm humiliated as a man. I failed as a man to allow myself to be subjugated to such degrading situations and circumstances. You know what I'm talking about? And to sit back and look at this here like, boy, this is real. Like, this ain't no joke. This ain't no game. This ain't no for play. The same way I know these white folks had somewhere for me, I know y'all got somewhere for me. But I'm not finna play with that. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff they subject you to in the Department of Corrections is humiliating. As a man. As a man, like, you can sit back and look at it like, and I'm being that graphic for you to understand how humiliating that is. To every time you go to a place, you got to get butt naked and stand in a circle of men and squat down and cough in the face of another man. You know how humiliating that is? You know how humiliating it is for somebody to talk to you any kind of way and they feel like they can do that? And that if you was to counteract, that they going to jump on you and beat you half to death, if not kill you? You don't know how humiliating that is? To have a grown man tell you to go to bed? I can remember one of them CEOs say, you got 20 minutes left to use the potty. I'm a grown man. This is what I done subjected myself to. Boy, I got to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming back to deal with this. I utterly refuse. Now we turn around and deal with the word. This man telling you what he got for you if you're righteous. He telling you what he got for you if you're wicked. You think he playing. You think he playing. You know why you think he playing? Because, see, you don't see him riding down the street like you see JSO been in the corner. Oh, they go to the police. Let me put my dope up. Let me put my seatbelt on. Let me put my pistol over. See, you don't see that there. You feel like, you know what? Let me keep on being evil. Because what? He ain't going to do nothing. He ain't going to do nothing. He ain't going to do nothing. I can keep being slothful. I can keep being lackadaisical about my salvation. I can continue to disrespect him. I continue to do this. And you think he ain't going to do nothing. To that day when them thrones come up and the books is open, and then you're going to see that he going to do something because you thought it was a game. You didn't believe it was real. It's real. You can believe it now or you can believe it later. But that's on you. Ye see how large a letter I have written unto you with my own hands. And as many as desire to make a fair show in the flesh, they constrain you to be circumcised, only lest they should suffer persecution for the sake of a Mashiach. But neither they themselves who are circumcised keep Torah, but desire to have you circumcised, that they may esteem in your flesh. But Elohim forbid, I esteem save in the stake of our master Yahushua HaMashiach, by whom the world is crucified unto me, and I unto the world. See, that's what happened when you rejoice in the truth. He said, you know what? I'm going to esteem in the sacrifice of Yahushua. Now, I've been mortified. The world is dead to me, and I'm dead to the world. It's dead to me. He say, for in Yahushua HaMashiach, neither circumcision avail anything, nor uncircumcision, but a new creature. As many as walk according to this rule, word, no doubt. Shalom be on them, and mercy upon Yasharallah Elohim. From henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the master Yahushua. He say, nobody gonna trouble me. He said, I got the death of Yahushua in my body. You see this here? I'm crucified to the world. Like, boom, just like he showed them. Look at this here. Check it out. I'm crucified to the world and the world to me. I live for y'all now. I don't care nothing about what they got going on out here. It's the gospel that sustained me. Not no nationality. Care nothing about that. Who cares? Nigga worry about a nationality, ain't got no name in heaven. Dumbest thing in the world. Acts chapter 2. Why you think the man sit back, he know you? You got to remember what Gabriel came and told Daniel. Oh, Daniel, man, greatly beloved. That means y'all knew him. I know him. That way he say, depart from me, you work of iniquity, I never knew you. You think he know you because you an Israelite, nigga? No, he know you because you a son or daughter of Elohim. That's how he know you. Your name written in heaven. He said there was a book of remembrance written before him for everyone who feared him and thought upon his name. He know you. Boy, don't nobody else in this life know you. You better make sure y'all know you. That way he say, righteous Abba, the world ain't known you. They don't know you. So they around here, know y'all, know y'all. You know y'all because the word in you. The word in you, he know you. You ain't got to tell, ain't nobody got to tell you who your parents is. You know who your parents is. You ain't got to tell nobody we family. You already know they family. I got to tell you, mama, what mom and daddy said not to do. You already know what they told you not to do. But most importantly, you know who he is and what he's about and what he's promised and what he gives to all those that love him. Acts 2:37. J. Bird Jones. You supposed to be in the bed, man. J. Bird, slide in the bed before recompense falls upon your head swiftly. For I will not be able to deliver you out of their clutches. Come on, J. Bird. Now when they heard this, they were pricked in their heart, and said unto Peter and the rest of the apostles, men and brethren, what shall we do? Then Peter said unto them, repent and be immersed, every one of you, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, for the remission of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. For the promises unto you and unto your children, and to all that are afar off, if even as many as Yahuwah our Elohim shall call. And with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, save yourselves from this untoward generation. So what we begin to see is for Yah to know you and for you to know Yah, you got to repent in the name of Yahushua. Well, if you repent in the name of Yahushua, that means you believed the gospel. See, come over here to John chapter 20. J. Burr Jones, go over there. You either stand over here or get in your bed. '20 and 27. John 20, 27. Like I told y'all last week, man, and it always hits my mind periodically. Like, I ain't never understood what this word was about. Like, I ain't go into it thinking, oh, I want to preach the word, I want to be a preacher, none of that. Like, I never understood it. Lil Muffin can bear witness. But when we started dealing with it, I spent hours and hours and hours and hours every single day. And not learning it for the purpose of that I wanted to tell it to another person. It was like, I need to consume this text because it's the only way that I'm going to be able to live. This is my thought process. This is the only way that I'm going to be able to live. And I ain't talking about living in the sense of going about my day-to-day operations. Do you know what I'm saying? So there was an insatiable hunger, like I got to. And like I said, it wasn't for the purpose of knowing something for the sake of knowing it. It was like, boy, this is the only way I'm going to live. It's the only way. And now I can understand this book by the grace of Yahushua HaMashiach, who is Baruch forever. You know what I'm saying? I can understand it through and through. Even through and through enough to the point to be able to explain it to another human being, which is a humbling thing all in and of itself. So that's why I don't take it that lightly. You know what I'm saying? And I would hope y'all take it as heavy in the same fashion. To look at something that you didn't understand, that you didn't grasp, and now you do to whatever extent that you do at this moment that we're gathered here this evening. Don't take that for granted. Because he could snatch it away just that quick. Continue to stay hungry, to desire that, so you can know him and that he can know you. John 20 and 27. Then he saith he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it in my side, and be not faithless, but believing. And Thomas answered and said unto him, my master and my Elohim. Yahushua saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Baruch are they that have not seen, and yet have believed. And many other signs truly did Yahushua in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written that you might believe that Yahushua is Hamashiach, the son of Elohim, and that believing you might have life through his name. So you get the life through his name because you believe the word, taking us back to what we read in Deuteronomy 18. And this is how you would be able to know him. See, people thinking that saying that you'll all know Yah, like, you ain't supposed to eat pork, you're supposed to keep the Sabbath. That ain't what he's talking about. Those who have partake of the new covenant, they know Yah, and they know Yah through Yahushua HaMashiach. That's why the man said, no man can come unto Abba except by me. Because once you come into Yahushua, then, like we read in John 14, him and Elohim, him and his Abba, they're going to manifest themselves to you. They're going to make their abode you. They're going to dwell with you. And then you will begin to know Yah, which is to know Yah what? The long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth and forgiveness. You know who he is, what he's about, and understand his plan of salvation, and you proclaim it amongst all that you come across. And this is why you're rejoicing in the truth and not in iniquity. I know we started stuff in 2 Chronicles 29 on Wednesday, and Yahuwah willing, we'll spill that over, I should say, on the Shabbat. But yet again, the conference call number is 641-715-7. That is 641-715-0857. Passcode is 488. 741. That's 488-741. Uh, if y'all have any trouble with that number, then you could just call 904-401-9912, and then we'll work that out to make sure that you get on there. And that's 904-401-9912. So when we look at, and I went to Think Evil, and we had two individuals for that we use, and we still got some other stuff to look at. But like I said, we dealt with rejoicing the truth a lot on Wednesday, because rejoicing in iniquity, that's plain. I think he didn't take us in that direction real strong, because who cares? We know the whole world rejoices in iniquity, and we don't need to focus on that. But what we needed to focus on is how we don't want to think evil and rejoice in iniquity, but versus rejoicing in the truth, because we see how that's a delineation between Ruach, the truth, Ruach, him that is greater dwelling in us, versus those who don't. Because the whole purpose of that is that when that love that doesn't fail is manifested, that we've been looking at for the last 3 weeks, then we begin to understand how the Ruach HaKodesh can make his abode with you and dwell with you. Remember John 14, Yahushua said, if you love me, keep my commandments. I give you a comforter which the world cannot receive, because the world has neither seen him nor known him, but you have known him, and he will be with you forever. Gosh. So then when we sit back and we looking at ourselves and we saying, I haven't received it. Am I not received it because my faith is not where it's supposed to be? Have I not received it because I'm still entertaining my flesh? Or have I not received it because I'm of the world? Because the factors was stuff. Have you not received it because you're not committed as you once was? Or you're not hungry as you once was? Because some of these things play into that factor. You have to look at that. Again, you have to examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. See, we're talking about this when we did the little painting, right? I know that my painting was not good in the least bit. I'm not the type of person that desires someone to tell me that something was good and it wasn't for the sake of my ego. If it sucked, just say so. I can take it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna have no choice but to take it. But if I know that it was subpar, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, you're patronizing me, because I don't want to hear that. Just tell me the truth. I'd rather have that there. My feelings are not gonna be hurt. You know what I'm saying? I done played many a sport and they were like, hey boy, I'm talking about this pick, boy, you sucked this game, boy, that wasn't acceptable. And you know what? You're right. But we come from that because you want to be polite. And I say that to say this here because we end up doing that unto others. We end up doing that to ourselves. And we tend to want to stroke our own egos. And we tend to want to see the things that we want to see versus being brutally honest with ourselves on what we could be better at. What could I do better? How could I have executed better? That's what leads to being great. So you have to be able to hurt your own feelings and be brutally honest with yourself. And when you do that, you can elevate yourself. So that's why he tell you, commune upon your own bed. Standing off, saying not, examine yourselves if you in the faith. You gotta sit back and look at yourself. Examine yourself. Are you long suffering? Do you think evil? Are you puffed up? Do you envy? Do you seek your own? Do you easily hate or despise or abhor or provoke, as is written? Do you bear all things? Do you endure all things? Do you hope in all things? Do you know what I'm saying? You have to look at that. Examine yourself. Are you committed? Are you disciplined? And when I say committed and disciplined, because in Luke 9:23, he say, take up your stake daily and follow him. So that's commitment and that's discipline and that's consistency. Consistency is nothing but doing the same thing over and over and over again. Like I just shared with some of y'all earlier, it takes 3 weeks to develop or break a habit, and 90 days for that to become a lifestyle. It don't take that long. Certain stuff it may take a little longer to get the fruit of the labor, but it don't take that long to change habits. The only thing it takes to change habits is the will and the drive and the determination to do so. When that is present, then the application of discipline and consistency are not going to be too far away. But it comes down to making a decision to changing a habit. Because sin is just a habit. Remember, habits are things that you do over and over again. Routine. I have a habit of doing this. So you have to make a conscious decision to break that habit. Some of us smoked. That habit was broken. I used to cuss like a sailor every other word, didn't even have to talk like that. That habit was broken because a conscious decision was made. I'm not going to do that. Now, I will say stop smoking cigarettes. I remember the day I stopped smoking cigarettes. Had just smoked the blunt with my next door neighbor. A white dude was all right, too. You know what I'm saying? And he gave me a cigarette, man. We just talking. He was like, yeah, man. You know, if you smoke a cigarette after smoking weed, man, you know, the fiberglass and the menthol, it just shoots out into your lungs. And I could literally see it in my head. Like what he was saying, I could literally see it. And I ain't smoking another one after that. And that was 6 years ago. I ain't smoking another one after that. Like, I'm good. I had been smoking at that point for 1994. For 18 years. Literally, had been smoking for like 18 years. You know what I'm saying? Weed and tobacco. And that was it. And they were like this here. That happened, we're not going to do that. And y'all can take that and apply that whatever you want. But you need to apply it with the word. Because Yahushua say, take up your stake daily and follow. So you know they say, he that suffer in the flesh cease from sin. That is a commitment. And that's discipline. And that's consistency. So you can't have consistency without discipline. And you can't have discipline without drive. And you can't have drive without commitment. And you can't have commitment without a decision. But you got to make a decision that I'm going to be committed and driven to consistently discipline myself to this particular objective. Our objective is to save our soul. Let's take a look at another thing that Yahushua said before we slide out of here this evening. You know, you got to be on your mission. Your mission is to be saved. That's your mission. John 11:25, just because that's what I feel like reading. You got to be on your mission. Can't get off your mission. Can't let nobody push you off your mission. Can't let nobody do that. Not wife, not husband, not children, not family, not friends, not even yourself. Matter of fact, don't worry about John 11. Luke 14, based off what I just said, and we'll stop with that. Well, praise Yah in the name of Yahushua for the word. That's all I can say. Definitely saved my life. Who knows? I could already be back in prison by now. Or dead. Or out here doing the same retarded jump that a nigga was doing in their youth. But instead, I'm here with y'all. I appreciate that. Because you, like I said, you could have been anywhere in the world. But you're here with me. And there went a great multitudes with him. And he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his Abba, and his Emma, and his Ish, and his Ben, and his brethren, and his sisters, but most importantly, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. If any man come to me and hate not his father, and mother, and wife, and children, and brethren, and sisters, and yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Whosoever doth not bear his stake and come after me cannot be my disciple. And you know why you would do that? Because you rejoiced in the truth. Because the salvation of Yahushua made you so happy that you would forsake everything that you had in order to get it. So, hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. Again, that conference call number is 641-715-0857. That is 641-715-0857. A passcode of 488 and 741. So, we definitely want to rejoice in the truth. Definitely don't want to think no evil. But the main crux of what Yah took us down this evening, what Elohim decided to share with us this evening, is to make sure that greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. and that we know that we have the Ruach of truth and not the Ruach of error. And we know we will have the Ruach of truth because we lift up the works of the shepherd and we esteem the mighty name of the living Elohim by way of the works of the shepherd, by manifesting his life, his death, and his resurrection in our mortal bodies, that all may know that Yahuwah is the living Elohim, that Yahushua is his anointed one, and that we have affirmed through in our hearts and in our deeds that Yahuwah has sent him. And then when we understand that and know that, we could care less about anything other than the living salvation of our God. Of course, there's going to be things in this life that everyone's going to want to attain to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I can tell you that if you're not committed and determined and driven to achieve things naturally, I know full well you're not going to be there spiritually. And if you are driven to do things naturally and you're not doing those things spiritually, then it will also show that spiritually achieving anything of any consequence surely doesn't matter to you. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be men of Belial causing a revolt. And see, we didn't even go back and really delve into that revolt. And Yahuwah willing, maybe we'll deal with that on the morrow, because we'll be beginning to the process of looking at hoping in all things and enduring all things and believing all things, which is the biggest and strongest manifestation of love of all the things that Paul mentioned. The things that Paul mentioned in 1 Corinthians 13 pertain to behavior. But those last three things pertain to the heart, of which you cannot fake. See, you can fake to be patient. You can fake to be humble. You can fake to be not envious. You can fake not to hate someone. You know, you can fake not to be self-willed. You can fake all that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't fake believing, hoping, and enduring. You can't fake that. See, those are actions. See, that's going to be seen. The other things are actions too, don't get it twisted. But to believe, hope, and endure, that means you get put to your feet, get put to the fire. You get tested and you get tried. And it's going to show what manner of work it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to show that your love not going to fail. So you put all these things together, your love for y'all not going to fail. See, believing, that ain't got nothing to do with us loving each other. But if we love each other, then we would love y'all, so it still wouldn't fail. Either way it go, y'all be praised. Our number one objective should be just what Peter said, to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Nothing else matters outside of that. Most High willing, if I can get all believe and endure and hope in tomorrow, which y'all knows I probably won't. Yeah, that part about looking at and examining what type of man our Elohim is, and for us to emulate that, oh yeah, we're going to talk about that sooner rather than later. You know, I mean, it's beneficial for the women if you got a son. You know, it's not going to necessarily be something that, you know what I'm talking about. But at the same token, shoot, y'all need to emulate Christ too. But at the same token, there's more so of, and I'm going to show you the verse what I'm talking about. I'll read it to you before we peel. It's 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. Which had me thinking about that anyway. Watch ye, stand ye fast in the faith, quit ye like men, and be strong. And let all your things be done with charity. So, like, yeah, we have to be men. And when we look at being a man, we need to be looking to Yahuwah. Not your definition of a man, not what your daddy was, not what your granddaddy was, not what your uncle was or is, I should say, because for y'all, those people still alive. But what Yah say it is. What Yah say it is. Because if we look at what Yah say a man is, we'll see a lot of people that we esteem to be men according to his standard, they not men. That's not to say that they, on a natural level, that they couldn't be men or men to be respected or looked to. But we talk about Yah standard. And if we say we the people of Yah, his standard is the most important. So, hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. Bless everybody out the house of Yah in the name of Yahushua. I appreciate everyone and love everyone. Pray everyone stay strong in the faith, endure to the end, and receive the Ruach HaKodesh to be quick in the life everlasting, that we all may see one another in the kingdom of the living Elohim. You who are willing, we'll pick it up on tomorrow. And with that being said, good evening, good night, and all of those pleasantries.